parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renters and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
2 yards should be just a nice, comfortable 9-iron for him. They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
What in? The People's Open is back. See the PGA Tour's best teed up at the 2024 WM Phoenix Open presented by Taylor Morrison. February 5th through 11th at TPC Scottsdale. Get tournament and ticket info at WMPhoenixOpen.com.
It's almost time for Arizona voters to pick their candidate for president. The presidential preference election is on March 19th. And if you want to vote by mail, make sure you are on the active early voting list or request a one-time ballot by mail. Elections are independently managed by each Arizona county. So reach out to your county recorder's office before March 15th if you want a ballot by mail. Get more election details at arizona.vote. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Secretary of State's office.
Live from the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale.
Here we go.
This is KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Thursday here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And, well, the rain has canceled the plans of many a drunk. Well, maybe the drunks who are golfing. The drunks who are watching are probably still there getting liquored up and getting soggy. But, yeah, they have halted play at the Waste Management Phoenix Open once again. So have they said exactly how they're going to deal with all this? Because what happens tomorrow? Because tomorrow's supposed to clear up. So presumably they play.
They will start round one tomorrow early in the morning, and then they will pick up round two, and then you and Keon have something you owe me.
Okay, we weren't even talking about that right now. We're talking about the Waste Management Phoenix.
No,
I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you anything.
Something you owe me, and
Keon owes you guys nothing.
No,
I've agreed to do it, but Keon doesn't owe you anything.
Keon does, and both of you guys have something you owe me. Go ahead.
So you need to make this clear and also help establish the timing. So yesterday we were talking about Major League Baseball.
Establish the timing. What do you mean establish? I sent the song to you.
Shut your ugly pie hole so I can explain this to the people listening. So we were talking about Major League Baseball.
I'm going to shut my ugly pie hole so that you can go ahead and just
explain
berate me here on live radio. Go ahead.
As opposed to what you were saying.
Yeah, had any idea what he said to Keon off air?
Listen, I love Keon, and he knows exactly how I feel about him.
Right now, you're just trying to bully both of us into doing
I'm
something
not
you
trying
want.
to bully anybody. Keon.
Exactly what you're doing.
Look, Keon, just look for some empty space and go ahead and do it.
So he's not going to do it. He's not
Go
going to.
ahead.
I'll do
Go
it.
ahead,
He's
Keon.
not going to.
Go
But
on.
let me
I don't
explain to
got it,
everybody
man.
what's happening. So yesterday we we're talking about Major League Baseball hot
Yeah.
stoving,
Yeah.
and I
yeah,
sort of thought, oh, that
Yeah.
kind of reminds me
Yeah.
of hot loving. Check
yeah,
it and
no,
see.
No.
or whatever. Hot blooded. Hot blooded.
Hot blooded. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was
Mhm.
just kind of humming that a little bit. Then Randy got the idea, and he's like, "Hey, we're going to record this song." He says, "I'll do
Yeah,
the main part.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
need you guys to do the backup vocals."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You record this at your house and send it over." Right? I don't
Yeah.
have as
Yeah.
good a recording
He
equipment
could
here.
do this. See what I'm saying there?
No, I get it. We don't have to
Yeah, yeah,
sing
I
in
can- I
tune,
can do
obviously.
this. No.
So that I just didn't have the right recording stuff for it. I mean,
Oh
all I can do
my
is
God.
maybe I can record a commercial here. Yeah, because with
Oh
my sound card and
God.
stuff. But
No,
I
please.
did say I'll do it live on air because then you can go back and get it off the podcast. But I need you to help with the timing. So if you give me the timing first, then I'll sing. I'll go ahead and sing my part. So you just gotta you have to sing it first. Oh no, we don't need the music. The music.
Well, I'm hot stoving.
Okay. So what's my part? What part do I do?
What I just said.
So
I need
do I
the
have to say
three-part
so,
harmony.
or do I just say hot stove?
Hot stoving. Check it and see.
Oh, do I have to say check it and see?
Yeah.
But I thought that was your part.
Hot stoving. Check it and see.
So I have to say check it and see.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the only line I have?
No.
Well, what are the other ones?
Check it in on free agency.
Well, that's your part.
No.
Okay. So here's what I need you to send me a script because I don't want
I
to.
already did. Keon, can
what
Keon,
script? All you
Keon,
did was
can you
send
just-
me the recording.
Can you just shut his mic off and do your part, Keon? Come on.
I don't have a part.
Hot
this-
stoving. Check
You
it and
didn't write
see.
any lines down. All you did was all caps sing the parts.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not a
it.
script, Randy.
Checking in on free agency.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to send me a script, and also I need this to be copied
Come
to my
on,
agents.
teams. Is it talking? All,
See,
hell,
you
I
don't even know the
now.
damn lines.
I don't even know now. Now I have
I'm
to,
not doing this
I gotta
until I
check.
got a script.
Oh, you giant
Yeah, easy.
weasels.
You can't be using the same words you're using off air.
One that's a white weasel and one's a pumpernickel weasel.
I don't think you should say that.
I've never been called that before. That is
You just talked over the parts.
Yeah, because we're not recording.
What do you mean?
We're
I'm
not-
trying to give you guys
It
the
won't work
parts.
that way.
And you and Pumpernickel are not singing
You
anything.
really need to stop saying that. I'm going to have to stop you right
my
now.
just leaning into a
God.
little too. Oh my god!
Gonna
Yeah, it's
play
so
a
loud. I can't.
It's okay
can't-
because I control the master volume. So
babies.
It's too loud.
See, that's
For- Randy,
you're gonna have to turn that
we're
down.
not doing this.
It's-
We're not doing this right now. First off, we don't have a script. Second, it won't record
Oh, my
nicely this
God.
way, the way you're trying to do it.
Thirdly, it's over modulated to
Yeah.
all hell.
Yeah, it's coming through kind of bad. Randy. Why don't you go gather up some neighbor kids or something? Fish Tank says, Randy, you and I can hit the hot stove at any time you like. Well, there you go, Fish Tank. Why don't
Fish
you
tank
send,
can actually sing.
yeah, Fish Tank.
Just name
Email it in.
Oh no, Fish Tank. Name in your. Go ahead and send in your address. I'll be right there.
No, you don't have to go to his house, Randy.
Oh, no,
He's
I
going to
need
send you
to.
the voice
No.
piece.
No,
Just play that thing so Fish Tank can hear it, and he'll know
what
what
are
to
you
do.
talking about? Playing it again?
Play this. He can hear it.
Yeah,
He can write it down.
you're
and then he can.
talking over it, Jeffrey.
I'm talking over the intro.
Hmm.
Yeah, because that's what we need in a bit, a nice long intro.
You know, I could cut it down.
Come on, teams, do you do more than talk? We're hot stoving, Hot Steuben, we're hot.
See that?
There you go.
Hot.
Yeah, you're very proud of that. You're very
That's
proud of
me.
that. Yeah.
That's me.
All right, Fish Tank, you know what to do. Appreciate the help. And listen, I'm happy to help, but I'm not in a situation I could do it at the moment.
Fish Tank, because he's too chicks.
Keon could. Keon
won't
could do it
do
right
it.
now if you wanted.
No, he won't do it.
Because he could record it. I mean,
that's true. I could record it,
won't
but I can't sing, so that's going to be an
Fish
issue.
Tank Blender at 1580thefanatic.com.
I mean, he hasn't offered to help, but I mean, it sounded
Go
like
ahead,
he
Blender.
offered.
Yeah,
to help.
he
It sounded
did.
like he was willing to anyway.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was willing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I also am
Fish
willing, but
No,
you
you're not.
just don't like the
No, you're not.
conditions.
No, you're not willing to help out, Jeffrey. You big panty waste.
It's all the name calling about.
Well, you're not willing to help out. I sent this to you earlier today, and
Yeah,
you and
I
Keon
was
both
busy.
denied my invitation to help out with Hot Steuben, the new hit single on here on 1580 Fanatic.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, you guys are not willing to be a part of this.
I received no email, actually.
No, I gave this to you before we got on the air. You heard it.
Hot Steuben, check it and see.
See what I'm saying?
We're checking in on free agency. Come on, teams, do you do more than talk?
See what that? You guys don't. You don't.
Well, you should just cut it off. Why did you cut it off? Here's the thing, Randy. I have no hot stove things to talk about today. I have nothing. Zero things that we were going to talk about today. It's all football pretty much today, man.
You're the guy that started this, and I just made the song, and
I tried to
here
wave
we
you
are.
off, but
What? You
Yeah,
didn't
I
try
tried
to
to-
wave me off.
I tried to do like, hey, how about not today? You know, we can just do this later. I'll be in studio soon. Just you're such a baby. Chief Skull says, and the Grammy goes to Randy White for Hot Stoven.
Thank you. Thank you.
CK says, beer me. Good moist afternoon, fellows. One day closer to the Niners. I'm not reading that again. You say that every day. I'm not reading the same thing you say. I stopped doing that for George. I'm not going to do that for you. Henry says, decent Suns trade pickups today. Royce O'Neal and David Roddy. Okay. Royce O'Neal and David Roddy. I have no idea. No idea who these people are. Keon's going to have to tell us who the hell Royce O'Neal and David Roddy are. We did give up Jop, and we gave up Goodwin, and we gave up Watanabe, and we gave up Metu. Metu?
Metu.
Shemesi
whatever.
Metu.
We gave up four guys that they sit on the bench quite a bit and clap. So, but all right, fill us in on this trade. Does this get us over the top, Keon? Is this exactly what the doctor ordered, or is this just moving some chairs around?
I mean, I feel like Royce O'Neal is definitely part of what the doctor ordered. They needed somebody who was going to be, a solid defender and also somebody who could shoot threes. Because you can't have, if you have somebody out there that's good at playing defense, but then they're just a complete liability on the offensive end, that doesn't fit exactly what this team needs. They need shooters because you're going to have guys like Durant and Booker going to the basket a lot, shooting a lot from mid-range, and they're going to be open three-point shots available. And Royce O'Neal can give you that.
Yeah, he gives you a three-pointer, but he also gives you defense.
He also gives you defense, which I think is huge. Having somebody that you can move around and sort of put on various guys, and again, take that defensive load off of Beal and Booker and Durant because you want them fresh on the offensive side. I know that Vogel likes to switch a lot, but like that, having a guy that you can dedicate to one person is pretty nice. So yeah, I do think that I'm a little less familiar with David Roddy, but he is having a pretty good season right now. He's shooting 40% from the field.
He's a rookie.
So
a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years, but somebody who they feel like can actually play and get on the floor and contribute, in the second unit on the team, because I was reading a lot of the reports leading up to today. They weren't going to trade for anybody that couldn't crack the rotation. Like they wanted guys who could show up and be able to contribute on the floor and be able to play. And so I think that's what they added.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it puts them over the top, but it does make them deeper in terms of guys that can actually play playing.
He gave up 4 guys for 1.5 guys. And so I was asking off air, don't they have to fill those chairs? And you say, well, they don't. What's the minimum amount of players they need to have? Because I guess it's okay that they're going to be missing 2 guys because they got 2 guys. They gave up 4 guys. So there's 2 chairs empty.
Yeah, teams are obligated to carry a minimum of 14 players, and just eyeballing the roster, I probably should have counted that. They're going to have 14 guys.
Well, what's the maximum they can have?
I believe 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just never really paid much attention to that. So, all right. So Royce O'Neal. So we see him probably not tonight, right? Probably not.
Probably
right
not
away.
tonight. No, he'll probably have to travel. And my guess is they're gonna want him to practice a little bit with the team first before he rolls out there.
Learn people's names, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and also kind of learn your role and what's expected of you and all of that stuff too.
Yeah, not you, David Roddy, just Royce O'Neal. It's okay. All right, so that is Donnie. Donnie normally doesn't have good ideas, and he didn't actually have a good idea here, but he has spurred my good idea by what he's asking. Donnie was asking Randy if he could sing that in Dusty Rhodes' voice, and I thought, you know what? You should back all the your own vocals up with Dusty Rhodes, Sergio Garcia, and anybody else that you can do.
What are you talking about?
You just heard what I said. I just said it. Yeah, have those guys back you up.
So you want me to do it myself? Is that it? Is it?
If you were actually saying that you do the voice of Dusty Rhodes and Sergio Garcia, well, I guess I'd be saying that. Or you can call those guys and ask them to help you.
All right.
See.
All right, you big panty waist.
Why do you keep calling me names?
You guys,
I said I would do it.
You're a big panty waist. You guys stay over there, and we'll have Sergio. I'm friends with Sergio, and I'm friends with Dusty Rhodes, and I'll have them
from
take
the
care
afterlife.
of it. No, it's not afterlife.
Sergio Garcia is still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah.
And you know,
I meant Dusty Rhodes from the
care.
afterlife.
No.
Is he?
No, Keon, you have no say now. No, I'm sorry, Keon. Sorry.
I'm just asking
no,
about.
I'm sorry, Keon. You have no say from here on out. No, nothing.
Just to my knowledge, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, is no longer with us. That's all.
Keon, you have no say.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Dusty,
Jeffrey,
doesn't he beat Dusty in the wind?
Jeffrey and Keon, both you guys have no say in this song from here on out. Nothing.
I'm not
offering
anything.
No, you
Sounds
have nothing.
good.
Oh, all right, that's it. That's
Radio
Ron. I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening, Radio Ron.
I'd be surprised if
because
anyone's listening
Jeffrey
anymore.
and Keon are neglecting me. They're completely, totally neglecting me. And so I will get Dusty Rhodes, and I will get Sergio, and
what?
They're neglecting me.
Why are you telling Ron? Look, unlike many people on this planet, I read my entire contract. It didn't say anything about me having to sing.
No, sorry, Keon. You stay in your lane. Stay in your damn lane. Nope.
See, here's what I've learned is
rain
makes Randy drink.
No.
Yes.
I mean,
are you not drinking right now?
No.
Did I not just see
literally
a giant tumbler of scotch or bourbon?
No, you did. You saw nothing.
I mean, we could rewind the tape on the video, and I
you
guarantee
could.
you we saw something.
You could, but no.
So you now have an amazing idea.
No,
you go get them.
No,
you go get them, pal. Oh, Beer Bob says, yeah, you're forgetting another voice. How about the sexy Dean Blandino? I bet he'd do some hot stoving with Randy. It's a good idea. That is a good idea, Beer Bob.
Because my co-hosts are chicken. That's why.
Or how about selective in the projects? I don't know. It just doesn't work on me, man.
Not me either. I already.
Listen, I started doing stand-up as a 17-year-old, and I've been heckled and some. So what you're doing right now doesn't even scratch the surface.
And I just lived in the South. That'll do it pretty much.
Yeah.
So
He hasn't gotten it way worse than I have. When you sober up, you're going to be very embarrassed of this. I'm just saying that right here. Anyway, so tonight's game, Phoenix Suns are hosting the Utah Jazz, and feel like that this would be a pretty decent game. It's not a lock by any means, but I would think that the Suns have the upper hand, right?
Yeah, I mean, let me get to a little bit of the numbers here, but yeah, I think this is a game that the Suns ought to win. And they've been kind of up and down in some of these games as well.
The spread is 6.5, Keon. We should absolutely win this game.
No, absolutely should win the game. But like, one of the things that I want to see the team do is be really consistent.
Randy, we're going to turn your microphone off to keep this up. We're just going to turn it right off. You have to stop now.
One of the things that that they've been kind of inconsistent with is beating teams that they're supposed to beat.
Right. We're just going to mute the living daylights out of you now.
But yeah, no, this is a team that they should handle. It's will they? I did like the way they played the last game. They didn't really have a slow start against the Bucks, and they had a good fourth quarter where they were able to close out the game. And just because this is the Jazz, I still kind of want to see them start quick, close out the game.
Yeah, the only injuries that we have is game time decision on Bradley Beal and a game time decision on Bryce Sensabaugh. So yeah, Beal's going to play, right? That's just one of those things that they throw up there, right?
I think he's going to play. It seems like it. There's also a little thing with Devin Booker in the hip, but I think he's going to play too.
This is going to happen at 7 p.m. tonight. Is that on Channel 3 or is that on the tent? Is that on the TNT? I don't think it's on the TNT.
I think it's on Channel 3. Yeah, it's on Channel 3.
Cool. All right. So we have to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little NBA and some other things. But really, seriously, most of this show going to be about the NFL, and it's going to be about the Super Bowl. We got a lot to talk about, and I don't even know if today and tomorrow is going to be enough time to do it. So come on back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Free air-chilled boneless chicken breasts and 4 juicy boneless pork chops with your order. omahasteaks.com/vsin. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Couple of games on the board tonight in the NBA. The LA Clippers at home taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Clippers on top of the Western Conference, favored by 7 points, minus 280 on the money line. New Orleans plus 230, over under 231.5. Sacramento home to take on the Detroit Pistons, who have the worst record in the NBA. Sacramento a 13.5-point home favorite, minus 820. Pistons plus 570, over under 242. Celtics home to take on the Atlanta Hawks. Boston an 11.5-point favorite, minus 670. Atlanta plus 490, over under in Boston 245. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheets. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheets. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric. Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes. You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, Ralph, got another solar question for you.
Okay, but did you check out the Harmon Solar Podcast first?
The what?
The Harmon Solar Podcast. We put new episodes up twice a month that teach you all the things you ever wanted to learn about solar. We discuss things like how solar works, the roofing, sales process, demand management, everything solar.
Show like this needs some real smart thinkers, huh?
Well, yeah.
So you got some really great guests then, huh?
Almost every show.
Is it on Spotify?
Yep.
iTunes?
Yep. Just search it everywhere. It's the Harmon Solar Podcast. Go check it out at harmonsolar.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. I was just getting some news here. I guess Patrick Beverley got traded from the 76ers, I think. I thought he was with the Lakers, but all right. So he got traded to the Bucks. No, Randy, it's just like an hour old.
What?
This isn't breaking news.
Oh,
it's an
sorry.
hour old, and I just saw it. But so Beverly, I guess he sent out a text saying, "Yeah, hey, I got to fix my friendship there with my new pal Dame Lillard, because Patrick Beverly has pissed a lot of people off, and he started an awful lot of crap with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But now we're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks. How much does that change the landscape for the Milwaukee Bucks now that they've made these moves?
I think it changes it a little. It helps them. I don't think that there was any gigantic splash in free agency, but there was a lot of moves that could be the difference makers, in the playoffs and some of these series that might wind up being closer.
Is this a Doc Rivers move though?
I don't think so. I think that this is, the 76ers know that they might pretty much be done with this season with Joel Embiid and his injury. So they're trying to, get assets and things like that. I think
you don't think the new head coach has anything to do with this?
No, I think they need a defender. Like Damian Lillard, as great a scorer as he is not a good defender. And there are just times where late in games you want to put him on the opponent's guard, and he can't do it, and so you have to figure out a way to hide him the way that the Warriors were able to for years hide Steph and some of the stuff he couldn't do defensively, or the way that Atlanta hides Trae Young a little bit because of his lack of defensive effectiveness. And I think that this is an attempt to do that. Get somebody that you can throw on the opposing point guard, especially some of these guys that are just really good at handling the ball. Patrick Beverly's shown that he can do that. He can slow those guys down. Maybe he can't stop them completely, but he can slow them down and offer some kind of resistance, because Damian Lillard doesn't offer any.
Well, another casualty of war here. Cam Payne in a second-round pick going in the direction of the Philadelphia 76ers. So Cam Payne well on his way to becoming Ryan Fitzpatrick of the NBA.
Wow.
He's been on a lot of
He's been on a lot of teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Some guys are just journeymen like that, I mean, you could play really well, and I didn't think he was playing poorly, but you just find that, hey, if we need to throw in a contract to make these contracts match, I think Cam Payne's going to find that he's that guy for a lot of teams. So
Desert Viking says, hey, can somebody tell that drunk chicken that Thirsty Thursdays are more of an after work type thing? I will also add that his jokes are funny today. I think he's talking about you, Randy. I don't think he's talking about me.
I'm not a chicken.
Well, you were bucking earlier at us.
Well, I was, I was insinuating that you and Keon are chickens.
Well, we got that, and I'm not just insinuating that you're drunk. 888-368-1580. So let's talk about Steve Kerr. Did the Warriors make any trades, by the way? Because he came out and said something that really sort of struck me. He said, could be something special, but What a trade? No, the Warriors. He says, we don't have to make a trade at the deadline. We got a good thing going here. The guys who are here, they're an incredibly accomplished group. We got some exciting young players. We got a good group. So he's acting like we ain't doing nothing. Now, a lot of times when you hear a coach say that, they're saying that because they don't want to look desperate in a trade. They're like, well, I don't care if we trade. We don't care if we do or we don't. Don't care. When they're actually trying to put something together. So I don't think the Warriors have done anything.
I don't believe the Warriors. Yeah, no, the Warriors didn't do anything.
So now that we find out he's telling the truth, hey, I don't know, Steve, do you watch basketball? Just want to know if you knew the Warriors are under 500 and probably going to stay around that sort of level for the rest of the season. So saying that, these Warriors are something special and we don't even have to make a trade at the trade deadline.
I don't think he's necessarily wrong. And this is only because of the last handful of games that they've played. They've won 4 out of their last 5. And a lot of that has to do with Jonathan Kuminga, the young guy they drafted a couple of years ago that it looked like, is he going to become anything? When's that going to work out? And as Klay Thompson's role has gotten smaller on the team, Jonathan Kuminga's role has gotten a whole lot bigger. And the way that he's been playing with Steph Curry lately suggests that there might be something there. Him and Steph seem to have a lot of chemistry playing together.
You think they're heading north of 500?
I think that they can, yeah. I don't know that makes them any kind of contender. I don't believe that. But in terms of this team being a better team now than they were when they started this season, I do agree with that because their young players that they've drafted over the last couple of seasons are finally panning out.
On the other end, though, Klay Thompson is just becoming a shell of his former self and actually showing the vulnerability of his moment, talking to cameras, maybe saying more than he should. But he's like, he can't, he doesn't know what to do right now. He's just, a lot of injuries led up to this. But I would not be surprised if he retires here at the end of the season, if not sooner, the way he's talking. Now, somebody might talk him off that ledge. But, a couple of years of not being what you used to be. And, I think he's on the tail end, unless he bounces back. I just don't know if he can after those injuries.
Yeah, I don't think he can either. I mean, he missed nearly 2 entire seasons with, I believe, the torn ACL and then the torn Achilles, like right after that. So he just hasn't been the same guy coming back from those injuries. And one of the things about Klay that always made him great was not just the shooting when he was at the height of his powers, but he was also a great defender. He was a fantastic two-way player. Even if he gets the shooting back, he's a complete liability on defense now. You can't put him in front of anybody, and it's not his fault. Once you tear your Achilles, you're not the same guy.
Well, he's got championships, and he's got a nice career behind him. I think maybe it is time for him to hang him up. But I'll tell you, I've been the guy who's always been critical of Klay Thompson because Klay will just go on a ridiculous shooting spree, and then all of a sudden, clunk, 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 and he would usually Brick-O-Matic Klay Thompson shows up at the worst possible time in a playoff or an important game. And I just, I've always been critical of that, but it's tough to see a guy who, had it going. Now it's not going, and there's nothing he can do. And just sort of all the joy and the life seems to be draining out of him as he talks to a guy in front of his locker. It was just sad to see.
Yeah, and I think the reason why he was saying everything he said, because I do agree with you, it's probably a little too much. It's maybe a little bit too vulnerable to be saying to the media, but I think he was just so frustrated in that moment that he couldn't hide it, and they weren't trying to be jerks about it either. They were very aware that he was struggling, like he got benched in the fourth quarter. And when you've been a guy who he's won entire playoff games for that team by himself, like just had third quarters in the playoffs that just ended games in favor of the Warriors, to go from that to a guy that, man, we can't have you out on the floor in the fourth. There's no way to mentally adjust for that. And I think that there are some guys that because they age slowly, they get to sort of wrap their heads around the idea that, yeah, you know what, I'm not a starter anymore. But his fall was so fast, I don't think that in his head, he thinks of himself as a bad player.
Isn't this the way they were looking at him last season, though?
Well, they were waiting for him to heal up.
Well, but isn't this the way they were looking at him last season before they got into the playoffs?
As a potential bench player? I don't
know. As a guy that could come in and help them out.
I think they were always looking at him as okay, as soon as he heals up and then he'll be back to his old Klay Thompson self. And now they're realizing it at the exact same time he is that Klay Thompson's probably not coming back.
So
you have to come back and show what you do or do not have before everybody, including yourself, knows.
Why wouldn't they just release him then?
Well,
make room for another guy.
For the same reason that they paid Draymond all that money. Like, I don't know that Draymond's worth all that money.
It's all the chemistry.
But that's their team. This is the part of their team that they've homegrown, and they're not going to be completely heartless about this. This guy helped them win championships, and they're going to try and see if they can make it work. And look, if he is able to accept a role coming off the bench, it's not like he's completely useless. He can still help them, but he can't help them as Klay Thompson starter that plays 35 minutes a game. Like he just doesn't have that anymore.
888-368-1580. Oily Stool says, Jeffrey, are we going to get a Phoenix Open leaderboard update? Here's the update. The leaderboard is underwater. There's no update. It's they suspended play. The only people, and we're talking about 15, 20 people who actually finished their round. Martin Laird shot a 69, and so did nice. Kevin Yu, Joel Damon, Alex Noren, and Davis Thompson. And so I guess those guys, but there's a whole bunch of damn people who didn't even get to tee off. They shut that crap down around noon. So I don't know how they work this. I don't know what happens next, but I don't think they're just going to send everybody else home and let these 20 keep going. You know what I'm saying? So I think
it's like, you guys make the cut. Everybody else, so sorry.
Yeah, there's going to be a plan. I think I don't know what it is, but I'm sure they have contingencies for these things. But I have no idea what they are. So we'll keep you up to date as that unfolds. I have no idea otherwise. 888-368-1580. Couple of things that are going on with NBA players. Haywood Highsmith. He crashed his car, and some dude, and actually he crashed his car into some people. Here's what it sounds like. The other night, we left the game. He's driving on his way home, and all of a sudden there was this guy in the road. And then there was another guy helping another driver who was stuck in the middle of the road. And Haywood Highsmith hit him. And now he has one less leg than he used to have. Yeah, the guy who he hit had his leg partially amputated. How do you partially amputate a leg? Does that mean like he's got another kneecap? I mean, how does that just
from the knee down?
Yeah, it's probably from the knee down.
Yeah.
Well, it's not partially amputated. Oh, I see.
Yeah, because you still
not
have
the
your
entire
whole,
leg.
Yeah.
The leg was partial, not the amputation.
Yeah.
See, I could read that two different ways in English.
You really could, honestly. English is a
partially
weird language.
amputated, which means it's hanging by a thread. Just a ligament.
It's like they
dangling.
they went halfway and they were like, screw it, we're not doing this. We're done here.
But yeah, they won the game, and against the Orlando Magic, and he's driving home, and blam, it just crashed into him. So no word on charges or anything like that, but he'll be sitting out a while for, they say, personal reasons. But dang,
yeah, they said there were no arrests made. So
sounds like it's one of those things where it's an accident's an accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll see if there's any liability involved. So there's that, and then you remember Scott Pollard? You remember he's the guy with all the interesting facial hair. He used to do crazy things with his beard and his mustache and a little bit of his hair, and he used to play for the Boston Celtics, and he got a championship ring with them back in 2008. And he played for some other teams, the Cavaliers, a little bit here and there, that sort of thing. He was on the TV show Survivor. 6'11", and now his being tall has just become a life-threatening problem for him because he is sitting there on a heart transplant list. Good luck getting that giant of a heart,
oh man,
that's why Big George, and he's even taller. He's got to take care of his ticker. You don't want to end up on a transplant list waiting for a giant heart because good luck with that. And that's a tough one right there.
Yeah, no joke, man.
Yeah,
no
he's
joke.
He says, yeah, they said my best shot was to be in the hospital and just hope for something to happen. He says, my heart is getting weaker. Don't know how much time he has left, but he says, yeah, I'm from a family of giants. And everybody's like, hey, boy, good for you being tall. And he's like, well, yeah, let's sit on an airplane together, see how much you want to be this tall. But also how you like being on a heart transplant list when no giant hearts are probably coming.
That's scary, guys.
He says it's not a curse to be this tall. He says it's still a blessing. He says, but I've known my entire life there's a good chance I wasn't going to see 80 because of this. So Scott Pollard sitting there waiting, and he says, and it's also hard. He says, because somebody has to die for me to get a heart. And he says, so I'm trying to wrap my head around that. If it does happen that they're a hero, and I'm not wanting them to die, but if it happens to happen, well, then they're going to save my life. So it seems like he's got his head wrapped around all this pretty well. I don't think it looks good for him, to be honest. So it's kind of sad.
That really stinks. It really stinks. And I know he's well-liked guy in the NBA, so that's sad to hear. Sad to hear.
All right. Well, with that up note, we have to take a break. And when we come back, guess what? We're jumping in. We're going to do it. We're going to talk some football. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Super Bowl 58 is on. You can catch every moment of the Super Bowl on your home for the NFL. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Super Bowl 58 on The Fanatic is brought to you by Bet365, Salt Creek Furniture, Kasai Japanese Steakhouse, Harmon Solar. When it comes to Super Bowl 58, The Fanatic has you covered from the first kick to the final score. Don't miss the Super Bowl on your home for the NFL. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Valley of the Sun will roar to life this spring.
This ought to get pretty wild here.
Why is that, you may ask? Because NASCAR is coming to Phoenix, and it's going to be a weekend of good vibes the whole family won't forget. The best-in-class fan experience meets racing's toughest drivers for 3 days of action on and off the track, all surrounded by the beautiful Estrella Mountains. NASCAR weekend at Phoenix Raceway, March 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Come join American Furniture Warehouse and see our amazing deals on sofas, sectionals, recliners, bedroom furniture and mattresses, dining room furniture and accessories. AFW has the latest styles, largest selection, and lowest prices anywhere. Our warehouses are full and ready for you to take your new furniture home today. At American Furniture Warehouse, you'll find the perfect items for your space at a price you'll love. Visit one of our 3 Phoenix area showrooms or shop online at afw.com. afw.com.
1580 The Fanatic and at 1580thefanatic.com.
Your home for sports.
Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic, and it is raining out there right now at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. They've stopped play Glendale Runner is out there, though. He says, I'll report from the open. Too cold for cleavage, too damp for miniskirts, puddles on the greens. I like how his priorities were immediately apparent there. But yeah, oh, wow. No, he sent me a picture of the greens, and they are flooded. There's no golf happening there anytime soon today. So yeah, tomorrow maybe if that drains out. Wow, I'm surprised to see that those greens look that way.
Tomorrow it's supposed to be 60 and clear. So.
Yeah, but they need a chance for some of this to drain. I have personal experience because of my backyard floods every time it rains, and I know there's a certain amount of time that it's going to need to drain. But I think the golf course is probably better put together than my backyard, so hopefully a lot of that will just sort of drain off from gravity, between now and tomorrow. Don't you think?
I would think so. And tomorrow it's going to be clear. Overnight, freezing temperatures. Be careful. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No.
39.
Oh, well, that's not freezing.
I mean,
39 is the forecasted.
You're 7 degrees above it.
Yeah, you scared me.
39 is the
32 is where it freezes.
And
then it needs more time than that.
Right.
Oh boy, you had me. I thought they were going to be out there ice skating on the 16th hole.
On Saturday, 57 and rain showers. 57 and rain.
It's going to be on and off
Saturdays.
Oh, yeah. Donnie says the Waste Management Phoenix Open has tweeted play is actually due to resume at 4 p.m. I don't know how that's even possible.
Well, they're going to do it after the rain until it gets dark.
No, I get that, but I'm looking at a picture of which hole is that, Glendale Runner? That is water straight across the top, man. I don't know. I mean, unless they're going to go ahead and let the balls roll through water.
Yeah, or they've got some other way to quickly drain the course. But I can't imagine what that would be because I'm not familiar enough with golf courses.
And this green right here is not it. Even further back, I think at the what do you call it? Back by the tee, it's just nothing but water. So how long ago was that picture taken there, Glendale Runner? So maybe some of that is you're there on the ground, Glendale Runner. What are you seeing? Are you seeing the greens starting to drain off, or is it still just a lot of standing water? If there's standing water, I don't know how they can resume play. Fighting Wampa says, I think the whole field for the Phoenix Open should head to the closest indoor putt-putt, and let's just get this thing cooking again. Yeah, sure looks like it, man. There is an awful lot of water on them greens. Big George is on the text line, and he says, wow. Yes, Big George. Wow, indeed. He says, no, that poor guy who needs a heart. I sympathize with him. Us tall guys need to stick together and help each other out. The following sentence from George is all we're going to allow George to do. My thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. That's the only thing you can give up for this. You need to keep your heart, George. Don't just be randomly donating your heart to some NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
You only have one. You're going to need that. Kiss the Cook says, you guys should have been at the Open. You know, I was thinking about that. I actually said it to my wife. If there was a year we should have been out there, this is the one. Because the nice, cool weather and a nice breeze, it just would have been. I love this. I love this kind of weather.
Water pouring in through the tent.
We got a good tent. What are you talking about?
Equipment getting water on it.
Nah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So we have a good
perfect
setup.
Damn year. Yeah,
we have a good setup.
Oh yeah.
He says, but then Kiss the Cook says, plenty of pointy things walking around after it rained. I think he's talking about umbrellas. I'm going to guess umbrellas. So
let's just say that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of thoughts and prayers, just want to thank everybody who gave their support when Jim Irsay was down and out. But now he has recently posted on the social media that he's on the mend, which is, I believe, translation in addict talk. Rehab's
I
nice.
have another chance. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Rehab is very nice.
Oh.
So they said he had a severe respiratory illness. Then another time, the police said, if by severe respiratory illness you mean overdose, where Narcan gets used, yes, that's exactly what happened. So he's battling through it, doing his thing. So still, I'd rather have a drug addict of an owner than a racist or a misogynist or a bigot of any kind. So there. Hey, this is one of the most unbelievable things that I have seen in the postseason of the NFL. I know we can't call it the off season yet. There's still 2 teams getting ready to play Sunday. But as far as off season stuff in the coaching carousel, the fact that somebody actually thought it was a good idea to make this schedule it, put it in the calendar. Let's go ahead and arrange things, send a car. We're going to interview him. Let's get it. Rex Ryan interviewing for the Cowboys defensive coordinator job is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. He hasn't been on a football sideline in 8 years. And when he was there, he was god awful. And the fact that anybody's even interviewing him for this position is comical. And it is, of course, the Cowboys.
It's Jerry.
He's interviewing for DC. So
which then he hasn't been in the game since 2016.
The game of football has changed quite a bit in 8 years.
I think I think Rex Ryan's got a toe up on everybody else
in his mouth. That freak. He's just got a blowhard.
He's got a foot up on everybody else.
Yeah, he's just a blowhard, and he has got the game, as Keon pointed out, it's passed him by. It has passed him by.
But he has a foot up.
Yeah, we got it.
On everybody else.
We got the whole foot fetish angle there.
He's got a toe up.
Don't think there's any more.
He's on the big toe.
I think he's just a heel. So, we had an NBA player run a guy over and cost him part of his leg. Now we've got defensive end Janarius Robinson on the Raiders. By the way, the Raiders are to DUI what Georgia is to fast driving. How come they can't seem to figure this out? I mean, we got another DUI for a Raider player.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly can't tell you what it is. Maybe there's just something about guys being in Vegas all the time and not having particularly any amount of self-control, because I can't imagine what else it would be.
They're in a hurry to get the latest line.
Oh, really? The hurry? He was at 5:59 in the morning. He was drunk from someplace else.
They're in a hurry.
He didn't seem like he's in that much of a hurry.
You open up your phone and use the betting app in there. You don't need to drive 100 and whatever miles an hour
to get to the latest sports book and
it wasn't open.
Play. Yeah.
So drunk Janarius Robinson, another Raider with a DUI. And another interesting thing that popped up, I think somebody shuffled my papers, and that somebody might have been me. Back to the coaching stuff, Mike Vrabel, there was this story that came out that somebody said, the reason he didn't get hired, his physical appearance may have been too intimidating and turned some teams off. What are you talking about? He's only 6'4", 260 pounds, and has a face that always looks angry. I don't think he's intimidating.
I don't think so either. That's insane.
I'm sure he doesn't show up with that face. I'm sure he has a nice smile when he walks in, but they're saying that when people would come and sit down, here's what they said. Did you know I had a GM at the Senior Bowl who mentioned to me Vrabel's physical build, that he's a very large human being and can be very intimidating to people in an organization that are going to be a part of these decisions. He said that is a factor. So I'm just astounded at that. And I don't know if that's true, because the GM and the people in the front office, they deal with players all the time, probably scarier looking, angrier looking faces than Mike Vrabel. So whether he's a player or a coach, I just feel like that can't be true. That just can't be true.
It feels like it's not possible that that's true. Like it just, because who is so spineless? If you're the owner, you have control of the entire situation on account of the fact that you are paying everyone. So what if Mike Vrabel really wants to draft a guy and you, the owner, don't really want that guy? Do you think that you could probably set up the situation so that Mike Vrabel isn't coming across the table to come get you? Because I don't think he's ever done that. I honestly don't think that's ever happened.
It'd be cooler if he did.
I mean, it would. I mean, that's
owner.
Some of these owners could probably use it. I mean, I'd love to see Mike Vrabel work for David Tepper and have him, try and go through one of his tantrums and see how that goes. But it's just an insane thing to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, it just seems it seems made up. I just can't imagine
Yeah.
that they would actually be like, okay, I can handle the offensive line and the defensive line, but by God, this coach be looking like this. Nope, I
Yeah,
can't take that.
And teams always like to leak stuff, just to kind of cover their own backsides on this kind of thing. When it comes to why didn't you hire a guy, and if you didn't hire somebody that everybody wanted, well, then you come up with a reason and you kind of leak it to the media. This reason just happens to make you seem very stupid and weak.
888-368-1580. Hamilton Porter said, afternoon. So is anyone left on the Pistons roster right now? Yeah, it's looking pretty lonely over there, but we've kind of moved on to NFL right now. So, Fish Tank says, fellas, I bet on Figala to win. They're trying to give me 2.5 times my money right now. Am I riding it or cashing out? Who is Figala?
I remember last year he was actually doing pretty well at the Phoenix Open. I can't remember his first name right now, but he, Indian guy, I think. And
there he is, Sahith.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Figala.
He was having a good run in the very same Phoenix Open. Like Sunday, he was playing strong. I don't know. I'm
confused. How do they have him at 51? Yeah, you do realize that that none of these scores count, right? None of these scores.
Well, yeah, but if he's already bet on him and the sports book is saying, hey, we'll give you double what you put in.
He did have 5 under par through 14, but that's where he stopped. They stopped him at 14. So I guess according to Donnie or somebody, they're going to start back up here again any minute. So I don't know. Fish Tank, how much money did you put on that?
Because that would matter. Because if it was like $2, hey, write it out. If it was,
Donnie says, I put 20 on Figala as well. I could be a happy man Sunday night. What was that 20 get you? Because I'm not looking at the odds. I don't have that in front of me. So Big George says, damn. Yeah. I guess I'll have 0 chance to get a heart. Yeah, you better take care of the one you have, George. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He says, I also would have a 0 chance to ever have a job in the NFL since I'm 7 feet tall and 350 pounds. Mike Vrabel's a little 6'4" and 260, and that's intimidating. Yeah, George, here's the difference. You got a big old friendly face, and Mike Vrabel has a I'm about to kill somebody face. When he's intense.
Mike Vrabel was talking to somebody. They played the Patriots one time, and he went over to say hello to the, former Patriots coaching staff and all that other stuff. And he was like, oh, good to see you again, you bleeping mook. And I was like, and that was him happy. So if Mike Vrabel wants to be mad, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot you can do to stop that situation from going sideways.
Yeah, you were probably not in a hurry to shake hands with Vrabel after a game he lost, and he lost quite a few. So
at the end there, yeah,
he's the only coach that comes in for the handshake and makes everybody on the other team wince like that.
And Nick Sirianni looks like he's just absolutely. He looks like he could be bullied. If Nick Sirianni came in for a handshake with Vrabel in a game that he just beat Vrabel, I'm actually worried about him. Genuinely concerned.
Oh, look at that. Donnie says it was a profit boost, $20 for $1,200. Well, that would be very interesting for you, Donnie. Against the Spread says, congratulations to Jim Irsay for finally getting help and having Narcon vending machine installed in his office and his home. Yeah, but if he doesn't have any quarters, he is just screwed. I feel like it's got to be a freebie. Yeah, he's been to rehab sometimes before. He's an addict. He's talked about it pretty openly. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you have a nice run, and sometimes you don't, man. But thanks Against the Spread. Oily Stool says, man, Rex Ryan, he is so out of touch. Just so out of touch. In fact, he's so out of touch, the thinky wheel is spinning on Oily Stool's text. That's how far out of touch Rex Ryan is. I can't even read the rest of his text. Oh, well. All right, everybody. We're going to talk more football for the next 2 hours. Hour 1 is down and 2 to go. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
The Valley of the Sun will roar to life this spring.
This ought to get pretty wild here.
Why is that, you may ask? Because NASCAR is coming to Phoenix, and it's going to be a weekend of good vibes the whole family won't forget. The best-in-class fan experience meets racing's toughest drivers for 3 days of action on and off the track, all surrounded by the beautiful Estrella Mountains. NASCAR weekend at Phoenix Raceway, March 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every touchdown, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. See for yourself when you sign up today, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. Terms and conditions apply.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, Radio Pound, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose there in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And boy, it's really coming down over here in the East Valley. The rain is really hitting hard. So, you know, this wouldn't be so bad if it rained all at once and then be clear for a while. But this rain, it's clear. Rain, it's clear. I wonder how the Waste Management Phoenix Open would have rather had. You know what I'm saying? Rain all now, be clear for a couple of days, or do this in a dotted line. I feel like they'd rather have gotten the whole thing out of the way. But you don't get to choose when it comes to the weather. That's just the way it is. And so they are supposed to start play up again. Hopefully, is it clearing up over there? I mean, look out the window there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's clear.
I see the sunshine coming over for
you.
you.
The sun. I can actually see the blue of the sky, which is new for the last couple of days because it's just been pretty gray out here.
All right. Well, maybe they'll have a chance to get some of this started again. But because I don't know where I'm supposed to go to, I guess I'm better just go to the PGA.com again because it's not really being as widely reported as it has been in the past. You know, the leaderboard and updates on what's happening and stuff. So if you're out there at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, like our friend Glendale Runner is, send us a send us an update if you get a chance, if it occurs to you. But anyway, we're talking football, and we're not talking Super Bowl yet. We're going to talk football because, we got all kinds of time to talk Super Bowl, and we don't want to bore everybody to death with that. But look, Against the Spread says about the Theegala bet. He says, I say keep the Theegala bet if you only threw down $20 on it. If he has a chance to win going in round 4, then cash out. Keep in mind that Wyndham Clark was plus 8,000 to win at Pebble Beach last weekend, but ticket holders on that bet didn't get paid because they called the tournament after 54 holes.
Oh.
So when they call the tournament, you get nothing. They just cancel all bets. Makes sense. Kiss the Cook says, I think the Rye was at the Bunny Ranch and tried to get home before his... Oh, is he talking about the Raider player?
Yeah.
I think that's what was that true?
I don't think that's true.
Because that's gross.
I didn't see anything on the subject there. So one of the things that really surprises me in the last hour, we were talking about Mike Vrabel and how his physical appearance could be a factor in him not getting hired. And then there's Bill Belichick, whose desire to rule the empire is probably why he didn't get hired. Well, now it's coming out, and I don't know. Do we take Boomer Esiason seriously when it comes to, inside information, the stuff that people tell him? I don't know if we do. I've actually I haven't heard too much stuff from him on that, but he is pretty well connected. I mean, he knows guys in the league. So,
well, this is what he said. He said supposedly Arthur Blank was brought in to Bill Belichick and could have offered him the job. And he says, I don't know why guys say no, but legitimately an NFL executive told me that they believe that Arthur Blank offered Bill the job. So what they're saying is Bill Belichick was offered the Atlanta Falcons, but for some reason said no. And I know the first thing that Keon is thinking, because I'm thinking it too. They must have said, we'd like you to come be a coach, not a GM. And maybe that was where Bill Belichick said, well, that's how I do things. So it's either all or nothing for me. And I'm happy to go be on my boat.
Yeah, that would be my first guess because the Falcons really did like him. They brought him in for 2 interviews. So seemed like they were pretty ready to seal the deal. They got after Belichick. They went for him first before they went after any other coaching candidate. So I can believe that. That makes sense. And it's just when you look at his track record recently in terms of building teams, hasn't been great.
All right. So now when Tom Brady says, I'm surprised Bill Belichick doesn't have a job, I think we're all a little surprised on that. But then when you think about it, it makes sense. But then you look at Mike Vrabel and it doesn't make sense. He has a winning record. I mean, I know it's tight, 54-45, and everybody agrees he's a super good guy and he's a motivating, good coach. And here's the thing. Can I just give you a little bit of extra credit for Mike Vrabel? He's 54-45 with what team?
The Titans.
Right.
And his quarterbacks have been some combination of Will Levis, Ryan Tannehill, Marcus Mariota. Like, it's just not good.
So give him even more credit on that. I know a lot of people are saying, well, he came from the Belichick coaching tree. No, he didn't. He played for Belichick. Was he an assistant for Belichick on the Patriots? I kind of think maybe he wasn't. I'm sure he learned quite a bit just, watching him and knowing that someday that was something he wanted to do. But, Mike Vrabel has proven himself to be a good coach. He completely Belichick in that one game with the whole taking timeouts thing and messing with that, and it just pissed off Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
that he was able to out Belichick,
and Belichick himself used that same move earlier in the season, so you could tell he was watching tape. But no, he worked his way up, but he never went through New England system at all. Did some work as a defensive coordinator with the Texans before being hired with the Titans. Was a linebacker coach with the Texans. Was a linebacker coach with Ohio State back in 2011. So he's kind of done that independently of Bill.
Yeah. So he's not part of the Bill Belichick coaching tree. He just happened to play for him.
Well, I mean, he played for him, so
he probably got some stuff by osmosis. But
sure,
he's not a product of Bill Belichick Coaching Academy.
Yeah, like the guys that have directly come out from under Bill Belichick's staff, though those guys have not done well. But I will say with Vrabel, one of the reasons why he got fired was he had a disagreement with the general manager, Rand Carthen. And so like it was something that wound up being irreconcilable. And so I was reading that that's what scared some teams away is how much control are you asking for here? Are you going to get, if we hire you, are you going to get into a disagreement with our GM that we've hired that you might not be able to work through? Because you have to be able to work with people to be a head coach in the NFL.
The other part of that might be, you can just go ahead and send him home. Belichick thinks he's, carrying that kind of weight.
Yeah.
He may have said that. It's like, I am coach, I am GM. You want to give this guy some sort of a make-believe position? Fine, but I got to control this thing.
Or hey, look, I'm willing to listen to his input. I'm willing to listen to his evaluations. I'm willing for him to go out there and manage those scouts. And when the scouts report to him, they can tell me.
Is he though?
But I'm making
really?
the decisions.
Really? Is he though?
I don't know.
Willing to listen?
Yeah, I'm sure he is, because they did have a guy whose job that was in New England. The thing was, the way that it was structured was Bill was over him. So he had the last word on everything. So you can listen, but listening is not the same thing as the general manager is the guy that's over you, and you have to, he has the last word.
I don't think Bill had the last word. I think it was the owner. I've seen documentaries where they're sitting in the owner's office and Bill is presenting some players, and the owner is deciding yay or nay. But that's the way it is.
But the thing is, like, when I say the last word, I mean Bill is the guy that's out there going, this is what I want from a left tackle. With all due respect, Robert Kraft doesn't know what a good left tackle is. That's why he's paying. That's why he's paying
I know
Bill.
That. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say Bill was overruled how many times?
0.
He was overruled quite a bit
by Bob Kraft.
Yes, and I think that Bob Kraft is the guy that brought in old Chin Dimple to be the offensive coordinator, and it wasn't Bill.
I don't know that that's necessarily true, because Bill and
do your research, because that's what I read.
Bill O'Brien and Bill Belichick worked together on multiple occasions before.
Well, so I'm just telling you, Belichick did not want O'Brien as the offensive coordinator, and Robert Kraft did.
Well, by the time O'Brien showed up, you're heading towards the end anyway. So if that is true, that was
I'm just saying
one of those things in the relationship that might have dented it.
Because that could be a thing where Kraft is like, listen, I left the offensive responsibilities to you, and then you took your special teams coach and your defensive coordinator and made them coach your offense. So I'm not letting you do this. I'm not letting you make that decision anymore.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, Belichick, did he get his own way in New England?
I would say for the greater part of 20 years he did.
Chief Skull says Robert Kraft knows what a good run and tug is. Yeah, I mean,
he's more than qualified for that.
It's more of a rub and tug, not a run and tug.
Big George says Randy spouting out conspiracy theories here on Belichick and Robert Kraft.
No,
I like a good conspiracy theory.
I'm not really.
We didn't get a chance to give credit, and I'd say man card accreditation, or I don't know. I guess was it a big deal or wasn't a big deal? Mark Andrews was on a plane. And, the tight end for the Ravens, minding his own business, as he so often does. And all of a sudden, there's this woman, and she has a medical emergency. And actually, it was on a flight from Baltimore to Phoenix. And so the doctor and a nurse, they found a doctor, and is there a doctor on the plane? And then the nurse, and they came up, and they're like, oh, my God, her blood pressure is very low. Get her some oxygen. And everybody, it was a pretty scary moment on the plane. They were worried they're going to lose her right there because her blood pressure was so low. And so all of a sudden, boop, his head pops up, says, could it be blood sugar? I have a diabetic testing kit if you need it. And that was Mark Andrews. And why? Well, because Mark Andrews is also diabetic, and he recognized the signs, and they're like, hey, good idea. And so as a type 1 diabetic, he was familiar, and he's here you go. And, so they did the tests, and they did the stuff, and, they were able to stabilize her, and they were able to land the plane, and she was okay. So because he was able to identify what was happening and offer up his stuff. They were able to stabilize her, and she survived the moment. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if that really counts as a man card accreditation. I think it does, but
yeah, I mean, he
human being accreditation. Then
it is. He could have looked the other way and said, "Not my problem," but he didn't. He saw something that he recognized and thought he could help in, and saved somebody's life essentially.
Who of the three of us would go, "Not my problem"? Nobody.
Well,
I don't.
not us.
Nobody here, but there are people.
So let me tell you, there is a level of not my problem, because I just I don't want to get involved in other people's business. But when there's a health emergency or is a vehicle, code of the road, if somebody's pulled over and they're in trouble, you stop and you help them, especially if it's bad weather. But right now, my neighbor's Porsche has the car cover has flipped up a little bit on the front of it. I'm just like, that's really that's just really none of my business.
Yeah, oh no.
I don't feel like going over there and knocking and starting a whole conversation. The worst thing is just the one headlight's getting a little wet. So that's my level of none of my business. But after that, if I saw him lying in the driveway, I'd call someone. I think I'd probably dial somebody up.
Wouldn't just leave him there, but
I'd poke him with a stick. Hey.
Especially if his cover was up, over his headlight. Yeah.
Hey, yeah. If he had his shirt up at a flap, I'd be like, hey, nobody needs to see that. Hey, pook, 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 wake up,
do something.
Yeah. Let's see here. So anyway, so that's still nice. He jumped up and he did.
Sure.
Something. Yeah. So Teddy Bridgewater, remember him?
I do. Yeah. Teddy Two Gloves
had that vicious knee injury that sort of changed the entire direction of his life.
Yep.
Well, he has decided to retire. I don't even know if you know that. He retired.
Congratulations.
And he has taken his first job as head coach.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now we knew, well, the Bucks, what do they have to lose? So they'll probably renew him on the cheap. And instead, they got to the playoffs. So,
right.
Yeah. They're not going to draft anything. Like
then he threw off.
Yeah,
they
threw
that
picked 26.
Kickoff pass there at the end of the game. So,
well, yeah, but you assess the guy on the total of his time, and people are all like, "Wow, Baker Mayfield's back. Baker Mayfield's doing pretty good there." So Baker Mayfield, they're like, "Hey, are you looking forward to being a Buck?" And he's like, "Well, want to know who the Bucks offensive coordinator is going to be before I talk contract."
Oh,
dude, really?
You
are not in a place to be picky, even though you did pretty well for the team. Guess what? They're the only team you did pretty well for this year. So just maybe don't start that. Like, well, I don't want to be too quick to just sign the papers, man.
I don't know that that's necessarily a good idea. I kind of agree with him. Not in terms of the power. If he's saying he's trying to hold them hostage so they can hire the guy he wants, no, he didn't have that. Baker does not have that level of pull. But in terms of, hey, if I want to have a repeat performance of what I did last year, the guy that they're hiring kind of needs to fit what I can do well.
He needs to be happy to have a repeat performance of being hired. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, if there's a year to do it, the amount of free agent quarterbacks you can go get, it's Kirk Cousins and
step
end
back,
of list.
Keon. Step back from this and look at this through what should be Baker Mayfield's eyes. You didn't get this team to a playoff. You were with this team when they went to a playoff. So that means that this is a team that has some talent on it. You're going to snub these guys and then end up on some crappy team somewhere else that really needs you. And now you're surrounded by the same kind of people that you were surrounded by at the Browns when he first started there, or the Rams or other teams. So in the Baker Mayfield, he probably needs to be making the effort to stay put.
I think so too. But if you're going to stay put and the guy calling the offense is like, hey, let's drop back 40 times and take deep shots, that's a disaster. You are not going to continue to have a job. And I think that Baker wants to be in an offense that continues to make him look good.
So what do you think? The Bucs are going to go get somebody who's completely contrary to what they know has already started to work for them? I think they're going to be looking for a similarity in continuing what they were doing. Because from the Buccaneers point of view, boy, we were close.
Yeah.
So
and I
if
think
it ain't broke, let's not fix it.
well, you want to make sure because there are teams that do that. That they do go in just a completely different direction with offensive coordinator because maybe they go after a bigger name or something like that instead of what was working. And since the guy that was your offensive coordinator is now a head coach, you're kind of running around at this point where a lot of teams have filled that out.
Wouldn't this be the time for another team to make a move to a different quarterback?
I know a team, the Panthers. David Canales, who was his offensive coordinator.
Now you can't because Bryce Young is there. And I know that Bryce Young did not look great last year, but the reason why he fired Frank Reich in the middle of the season was he expected wins and he wanted Bryce Young to work. David Tepper. So if you're going there, you're not starting. Like it's just
that's the only thing I could see. That's
David Tepper. I mean, Atlanta could probably work. You know, you got Raheem Morris, the new coach over there. And then you do have weapons. I still think that Kyle Pitts can play. It's just, hey, throw him the football. And then you've got Bijan Robinson over there. They've got the 8th pick, so they could draft a receiver who's going to be really, really good. Maybe Roma Dunze or somebody like that. There's a way to go to Atlanta and look really good. And you know, the only other options are trade for Justin Fields and Kirk Cousins as far as available possibilities.
In the conversation, he did thank the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for being the first ones that gave him a chance, and he's thankful. But when somebody wants to know how you feel about your chances and situation with a team, you don't start with, it all just kind of depends. No, you start with, I'd really like to stay here. And then you stop. There's no reason for you to verbalize, I kind of want to see who the offensive coordinator is.
The guy's never had a filter, though. He always says what he's thinking. He's incredibly honest. So, yeah, you would say, I like to stay there because that's the quarterback non-answer that every quarterback's supposed to give. But he's never been
smart. People can be honest and honestly quiet.
But don't you think that Minnesota gets the right quarterback? And I'm not saying that Baker, the touchdown maker, is the guy. I'm just saying if Minnesota gets the right quarterback, don't you think they're going to be a contender?
No.
I mean,
really?
They
with Justin Jefferson?
No. I don't know about that. I think that there's some stuff to
Randy Donnie's listening. No.
I'm not trying to psych up Donnie. I'm just saying
Jeffrey doesn't want Donnie to be happy and have nice things.
So what about Washington? And I'm not trying to say anything derogatory. I'm just saying, what about Washington?
They've got the number 2 overall pick, so that's probably not the best spot because they're probably going to draft the guy.
So, Randy, there's teams that are going to want Baker Mayfield, but they're going to be the lower level teams. And that's funny. Donnie just said, Jeffrey's a hater. Wow. This is called mirroring, Donnie.
Well, I didn't mean for Donnie to get on the text line and just start bashing my buddy. That's not what I meant.
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
It's Donnie, you know.
No, but so Donnie, here, let's be. Do you want Baker Mayfield? I'm guessing no. But you know, there are some teams that he could play well for and he could do. But Baker Mayfield, again, let me remind you, the reason he played well is he was dropped. He was airlifted and dropped into a great situation. The next situation might not be all that great, and all of a sudden now you got another failure. Baker should stay the hell put.
I don't know that that's true. I think the offensive coordinator absolutely matters because when Baker's in a system that doesn't work for him, it doesn't look good, and I don't think it is good. Also, Mike Evans is probably not staying, so it's not like you've got all the weapons that you came there with. I don't think that that's a cut and dry, just stay put because you're Baker. It's like, no, figure out what the best situation is for you and go there. And it might just be stay, but it might be Atlanta or somewhere else.
I just want to keep him off the progressive ads, please. I don't want him any more of those ads. So Donnie says to Baker Mayfield, hell no. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back and we're talking more NFL, non-Super Bowl NFL. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
2 yards should be just a nice, comfortable 9-iron for him. They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
What in? The People's Open is back. See the PGA Tour's best teed up at the 2024 WM Phoenix Open presented by Taylor Morrison. February 5th through 11th at TPC Scottsdale. Get tournament and ticket info at WMPhoenixOpen.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every touchdown, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. See for yourself when you sign up today, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Danny Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. Lacrosse guy says, hey guys, just caught the last bit of that segment. If you're asking if I want Baker or Kryler Baker all the way, no, I'm sorry. Punctuation caught me there. He wanted to know if he wants Baker Mayfield or Kryler Murray. He wants Baker Mayfield all the way. He is a leader and he has heart. You know what he is? Baker Mayfield is Gardner Minshew with a haircut.
I don't think that that's true.
I know. I just like saying it. So I was looking at Twitter there for a minute, and actually Donnie reposted this, and the caption was, "My tax dollars at work." And I'm like, wait a minute. Donnie and I live around the same area. So I was like, that means that's my tax dollars at work. And then I looked at it, I was like, no, you're wrong, Donnie. We don't live in Gilbert. We live in Queen Creek. But it said it was the town of Gilbert was putting up a sign over there at Perry High School, covering up the Perry Puma Street sign with Brock Purdy Way. So they're changing the name. I don't know if it's permanent or if it's temporary, but they're changing the Perry Puma Drive. And what that is, Perry Puma is just the little inlet road into the high school.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it's not Ocotillo, Queen Creek, or Germain, whatever road. I don't ever, I drive by there every now and then, but yeah. So would you want that to be permanent?
Brock went to high school?
Yeah, they wouldn't be doing that otherwise. Yeah. He went there, and
sorry,
but I don't know if that's going to be forever.
I mean, even I wouldn't. What would be the problem if it was?
I mean, no. I mean, I guess not. I don't know. I was just curious if they were going to. Because I always thought it was cool. I drive by there and see Perry Puma Way. You know, it's like driving by Mountain View High School, seeing Toro Drive or something like that.
Yeah.
That's your mascot. Should a former student take the place of the mascot? I mean, I get it. He's in the Super Bowl, and then maybe the people there do think it's a good idea. But I don't know.
I mean, he's bringing more attention to the school than the mascot is currently. So,
no, that's a good point. That is a good point. So,
and they're proud of him. I mean, that's he was really good when he was there,
Well, they should be proud of him, yeah.
And then he was a really good college football player, and he's off to a hot start of being a really good NFL quarterback. So
I wasn't planning on talking Super Bowl stuff, but I will talk a little Brock Purdy stuff. And I got to tell you something I saw that was really telling about the person that Brock Purdy is. And I thought this was really kind of neat. Now, I don't get too into the whole Christian-y thing and, talking about professing faith and that. But I do know that the people who are the most effective in sharing their faith with somebody is going to be somebody who just shows it by living their life, by being an example. And, then you see this person, you think, wow, this guy is pretty cool. What makes life so cool for you? And then that person then, because you asked, tells you. Better than somebody shoving a religion down your throat or trying to tell you how you're going to hell because you're doing this or you're not doing that. And when I see Brock Purdy up there, and they're asking him about football stuff, then somebody asks him a question about, so, I know faith is important to you. What are some of the scriptures, that are really important to you right now? And without batting an eye, he just starts talking about Psalm 23, and he starts talking about how it helps him center himself and it helps him shut the noise out. And he said this is something he goes back to a lot. The maturity of which he spoke to this, and he's not in your face, shoving a religion in your face. He's not trying to be holier than thou. He's just matter of fact. He's like, okay, somebody's asked me about my faith. I'm going to tell them about my faith. I got to just say, I was really super impressed by that. And if anybody is going to be a light in the world for their religion or God, Brock Purdy is achieving that. I don't think he's meaning to, but it's masterfully done. He's just seems legit good guy, and sharing what he believes in the way he did. I think it's going to mean a lot to a whole lot of people. So, I'm not trying to make a joke about it. I know you're wondering, what's the next thing going to happen? But no, I just got to say, whatever you believe, whatever religion you believe, whatever faith you have, nothing to do with that. I'm just saying this kid, man. And now that explains why when he's in the pocket and they're about to kill him and he's just all like, because he says during the game, he's like constantly sort of repeating some of that psalm and kind of praying in his head a little bit, like, okay, just give me some peace, let me be centered, whether, that is a God thing or a meditation kind of thing, it's clearly working for him. And he doesn't come across Christian douchey, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's some of the stuff that
he's legit.
And it wasn't fair at the time, I don't think. But that was some of the stuff that people kind of felt put off with Tebow. Was it did seem very in your face, like this, just like, hey, look at everybody, how Christian I am,
and a little smarmy.
Yeah,
Brock Purdy's achieving this without telling you. He's achieving this because you asked him.
Yeah,
and that's the right way.
When I was still a Christian, that was something that was important. Was if you live your life in a certain way, don't worry, people will ask you why you're different.
Right.
And that's a stronger message because now they actually want to hear it, as opposed to you're the guy that's going to tell them everything. And to be able to be that way at 24 years old, I think is impressive, because I could not have had that level of grace, I don't think.
This kid is solid and he's mature, but he also knows how to talk to the other players and still be a kid. I mean, he's just across the board. Now, I'm really hoping that doesn't change. And then somebody doesn't come out with a story, as so often happens. But at least here in this moment, you got to say he's doing it right. 888-368-1580. Niner Nepoles says, that was pretty good, Jeffrey. That Purdy answer on his faith, pretty darn impressive. Whether you're a holy roller or not, you had to respect it. Well said. Donnie says, I think the Gilbert Goons are bringing more attention to that school than Brock Purdy, but hell, that's another story. Is that where the Gilbert Goons are from? Is from Perry? I thought it was just Gilbert